Ducktales, 20 years later, Episode 6. Rio de Janeiro, the marvelous city. Seated on the water and bathed in sunlight, this bronze, charmed city laid under the watchful gaze of Christ the Redeemer, letting those who would come to her and partake of the communion of dance and chakaka running through their veins. As the sea duck came to a halt at the port of Rio, several tourists sat and gawked at the antique plane. The passengers of the plane didn't even wait for the rowers to come to a complete stop before they stepped out into the port. The 5 ducks and other waterfowl, 2 of which were wearing heavy costumes, not obviously ideal for such a climate, stretched tired muscles and breathed in the heavy air. "Hey, Huey?" asked Dewey, much to the more temperate coastal weather, and having a bit of difficulty breathing. "Rio, why are we here again?" "Because, Dewey, the sea duck needs refueling, and I know a guy who could put us up while we wait." Abigail picked at her ribbed and filthy sundress, feeling subconscious that the bronze goddess heading to and from the beaches and decks of cruise ships. "Good as the place as any." "As long as there's a phone," said Dewey, the sunny day doing nothing to soften his hard expression. "I still got my duck enterprises to manage, and with that $600,000 to hold, of course. Even when you're forced to take a vacation in Rio, God forbid you let your subordinates handle the company for a little while." "Right, Green Fam?" But nobody answered. Darkwing Duck and the Green Fam had managed to slip away unnoticed. "Well, this is rude. Where do you think they went?" said Huey. "Who cares?" snapped Dewey. "Where's this friend of yours? Do they ever have an air conditioner?" "Are you sure about this?" asked Louie, now back in civilian outfit of plaid and suede. "I should come with you, help you out." "No," answered Goslin, having changed into her own secret identity, standing with a small case in front of the airport. "You gotta take care of your brothers. They need you more than I do." She smiled. "I got more than enough friends I get called on to clean up Duckburg. Just cool your heels around here. If you're right and your brother's being targeted, you'll be in a perfect position to keep him safe." "I'll come back as soon as I can." Louie tried a sheepish smile and began to sweat a bit, and not from the heat. "As soon as the heat is off, I'll fly back to Duckburg. Once this is all over, we can head to St. Canard and—" "Well, this is all we business. It's just a team-up. It's not like we're partners or anything." "Oh, well, I guess not." "Now, remember your cover story," began Darkwing, changing the subject and pulling a small slip of paper out of her pockets. "Darkwing Duck called you up, and you came right down to Brazil as soon as you could. Your ticket, sir." She handed a paper ticket to Louie, and their hands touched for just a moment. Like an electric shock coursed through her. Goslin drew her back her hand, suddenly averting her eyes from looking at Louie. At her reaction, Louie blushed. He stammered. "I'll go. Have a good flight?" At the end of his sentence raised up quickly as Goslin began to step towards him, her face close over his. He could smell her sweet breath flowing past his bill. He dared not move. After a moment of indecision, Goslin began to lean forward. "Wait! Wait!" said Louie. "What's wrong?" "You're so young. I'm old enough. I'm fired, but I'll see you at Duckburg, okay?" After a pause, a disappointed Goslin sighed, without a word, turned and left. Moments later, as Goslin's cue disappeared into the airplane, Louie was mentally kicking himself. His hand sneaked into a bill, where it rested on top, wiping some of the sweat that had run down it. "Some millionaire playboy I turned out to be," he said as he too turned and left. Near the city center, 3 ducks, one in blue, one in red, and one in pink, walked, at the insistence of the blue one, towards the hotel. A few passers-by may have seen the 3 ducks approached by a 4th duck in green. It was great relief to see the other 3 alive and well. The red and pink ducks were all hugs and smiles, but when it came to the blue duck's turn, there was only a big slap, apparently for getting himself lost, followed by several unprintable words, and then a rough, worried hug. Witnesses to these scenes quickly forgot about those crazy American touristas as soon as the 4 ducks walked inside the small inn. "Bonita, look at American scene," Cried the diminutive crow standing behind the front counter, wearing a straw hat that apparently punched open from the inside. What can I do for you? The main hall was thick with plants and bushes, cracked stucco, with walls painted in summery colors. The place had an air of history about it, and a sense that it was a bit on the run-down side. It wasn't unpleasant, and as staying here implied sleeping in some historical writs of the days gone past. Huey stepped forward and said something to Crow in what Louis Dewey sounded like flawless Portuguese. You want to have my children? Asked the Crow, taking it back slightly. I'm sorry, senor. I do not swing that way. No, I mean... Huey blushed as he fumbled for the right words. Louis couldn't help but laugh, attracting the ire of his brother. You shut up! He turned to the Crow. I want to see the boss. Is he in? In what? In, huh? In what, senor? What would he be in? No, I mean, is he here today? Oh, he is in. The Crow laughed. English turns of phrase would be to decimate it. Rapid-fire Portuguese. The Crow rattled off a bark towards the back rooms. It was answered by another call, which sounded slightly angry. The Crow would have blushed if his feathers could have shone through. You'll be right up, senor, he said, and quickly vacated, apparently not sticking around for whatever was coming. Left in a thick silence, the four Cadostans stood awkwardly before the front desk, waiting for something to happen. Soon enough, there were footsteps coming towards the beaded curtain that partitioned the back room off from the main hall. The curtain was drawn aside slowly by a delicate peach-colored hand, revealing the scantily clad body of a female parrot, with absentmindedly snapping her bra back on with the front of her hand. Huey, Dewey, and Louie all stood rails straight, their eyes facing paths along the Westlight woman's candidly curves. Oh, Tesoro, I sorry, the girl spoke. She scurried towards the staircase on the second floor. Sorry, I'm so sorry. She went off on like that until she reached the stairs, rushed up, her arms covering up her bare skin. As they followed the woman up the stairs with their gazes, they could suddenly hear the beaks clink and clatter apart. Soon, what can I do for you, gentlemen? Said an airy voice of a figure, with a green-feathered hand, as he entered through the curtain. The first impression was the strong boulder on top of the faded green head. Next, the handsome parrot beak, framed by an attractive face of lines and experiences, though the expression it wore was presently one of annoyance and sagacity. Next, a sleek suit, of sort of creamy yellow, accented with a black bow tie. The suit was very old-fashioned, and the buttons were also uniformly attached to the wrong holes. Howdy, did that buttons? Mr. Karaoke? Okay, show of hands, class. Who will love it if on the 2017 Ducktales we have the other two free amigos show up? I don't know if you remember us. Get on, you are a room, yes? How many would you like? His voice was as screamy as his suit, even under the veneer of barely concealed contempt for tourists who dared interrupted his afternoon activities. He projected an atmosphere of smooth chilledness, also without seeming to think about it. He retrieved a thick cigar from the counter, along with a box of matches, and began the process of lighting it up. Mr. Carioca? Jose Carioca? I'm Huey Duck, and these are my brothers, Dewey and Louie. This is our friend, Webby. We met briefly in Mexico. I meet many people in Mexico. With our Uncle Donald? Donald. He shook his head. I do know. His face is split open. All the wrinkles hesitantly on his face twisted and transformed, revealing a sincere smile. Donald Duck! Donald Duck! His fingers were down at his buttons, straightening them out. Sweltering stogie was left to hang from his beak, being spoken around quickly with the least bit of difficulty. He then began to speak quickly and precisely in Portuguese, rolling his R's and crawling out of joy. While speaking, he took each duck by the face and gave a little personalized greeting to each one. Huey, who knew at least enough the language to get by, was absolutely stumped after the third sentence, and soon joined his brothers in a blank stare, a vague nod had the answer to apparent gusto. He took the cigar out of his mouth and began to gesture with it as he spoke, looking absent onto the floor behind the counter, speaking on some topic that had nothing to do with what came before, and will have no bearing on what comes after. He took a breath. Or, as they say in the States, so happy to see you. Three Ducks couldn't help but smile at the sincerity, if not the intentionality, of the words and gestures given to him by their friend of their uncle. Oh, you must be his little ones. I remember you. Such kitty little ducks, oh my word. He smote his forehead. You grew so big and so grown up. Please do not tell me how rude you are, or you'll cause an old man to die of old age prematurely. Bear grabbed something from behind the counter. An umbrella. Was he uses the key to assist him with a very pronounced limp as he walked to the front and towards the large plush chairs in the lobby. Come, sit, Duck. What brings you to this magnificent city? It's a long story, said Louis. Lowerkill so confused. I'm sorry, but how did you knew Donald? You, senorita! You could say I knew him quite well, although to my remembrance I think we only met, he did some quick calculations in his head. 5 days or so. Oh, but what times those were. It seems whenever your Uncle Donald went to adventures seemed to follow. Ah, adventures, senoritas. Things your little duck ears would not hear so early. His adventures was the reason I could retire and open this little hotel. Eventually, they all sat down, with Jose insisting on sitting himself under his guests despite moving his stiff leg. There was some trouble in Duffburg, said Dewey frankly. We had to get out of there. Oh, no, not that beastly boy evasion thing, was it? I hear under radio terrible disaster. We were able to escape, but we didn't manage to grab anything, said Huey. I don't suppose we could stay here. We certainly can pay. No, 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 no pay. You stay here. My treat. My kiss. Ronald was a good friend, and I do a service to his little ones. He paused to get a drag of cigar. Where is Ronald these days? The three boys looked at each other slowly. Louis was the first one to speak. He disappeared a little while after Scrooge died. Nobody knows where he went. We've all sort of given up hope. Oh, his eyes sank to the floor. Too bad. No good at all. Seeing the expressions on Dewey and Huey's faces, Abigail, ever tactful, looked around and decided to change the subject. These girls, in this picture, she pointed out to the three lovely, yet almost identical young women standing in front of the airport, and a black and white photograph hanging on the wall. They resemble you, Mr. Kurioka. At these words, he coughed. Say, please, Senorita, or if you prefer, Zay, or Joe, as your uncle used to call me. He sighed, and seemed to have a sliver of melancholy stuck in his ingratiating airs. They are, my cousin's daughters. He pointed to the first. Maria Sandina, of my cousin Cesarina Fonseca. He pointed to the next one, with an arm over her cousin's shoulders. Rosanina Pampiro, of my cousin Cesar Pinheiro, from Rio de Grande de Sul. He then moved to the last of the girls, who was looking slightly off camera. Last is Amelia Paulista, a Zipilasa, from Sao Paulo. All three are very beautiful, and I'm sorry I don't get to see them more often. His eyes began to glaze over a bit. I remember their mothers very well. Very strong family resemblance, commented Webigail. The karaoke jeans, they fit so well, but enough to talk about family. Please, I should show you to your rooms. He rose with a slight creak, and leaned over with his umbrella, before extending an elbow over towards Webigail. Come, senorita. Tomorrow I shall show your friends around the town. It's the land of the samba. That'll be lovely. As Lemmy and Jose walked up the staircase, Dewey seemed to smolder like one of a pair of cigars. Right. Let's go see our rooms. He marched quickly towards the stairs. Can't let them get ahead of us. As their brother walked off, Louis and Huey shrugged their shoulders. Huey followed Dewey up the stairs, but Louis hung back for a moment, mostly on a whim, and also because of a desire to not stand so close to Dewey. Let his eyes seek the room slowly. He hadn't noticed before, but in the shadows of the lobby, underneath the thick pine plant life, there were several bits hidden away, and from whence you could hear a strange whispering. Curious, Louis walked towards the beds. At the sound of his footsteps, the whispering stopped, and two round-nosed dogs raised their heads around the plants to stare at the green-clad American. Oh, Their stares were threatening. and Louis was certain he did not want to be receiving their ire any more than necessary. "It's that time," he said, wearing a watch. "I better get to bed. Oh, I am tired." He then pivoted on one foot towards the staircase, and began to walk up, intending to catch up with the rest of his party. But who were they, and what were they doing in Zay's hotel? He thought. He got a bad feeling. He smiled, reaching in his pocket where his costume was hidden away, a small capsule from Gearloose magazine that could fold cloth to 1/1000th of his regular size. Bad feelings called for a little investigation. That night, under the cover of warm karaoke at nightfall, the Green Phantom came out to play. First, the roof of the hotel, to catch the night air, listened to the rhythm of the city, so different from his home in St. Canard, and a far cry from his former home in Duckburg. The faint sounds of the streets, still alive with activity, emboldened Louis, allowing him to disappear behind a mask, become the Green Phantom. Within them, to prowl the hallways of the Hotel Carioca, third through the floor, empty both boarder and customer, dark and foreboding. They entered the second floor, where his companions slept safe in their beds. The single maid of their establishment, now properly dressed in their demure black uniform, a far cry from the broad panties from before, floated down the hall with a bundle of bed sheets for the wash. Though to the first floor of the empty, ghostly lobby, where the crow at the front desk was catching 40 winks of dream time, through the beaded curtain carefully, making sure not to let the beads crack together. The back room was bare, and sad when compared to the friendly less front room, and had a single, well-used couch for employees, and a tiny kitchen out to the side of the wonderfully unprepared, to serve more than a few guests at a time. The fact that the kitchen was where this particular couch lived more than put Louis off his breakfast that morning. But no matter. Down now, past a small handwritten sign denouncing that it was the hotel's Academiento. There would be no almacenes gratis. Down below that, there was a similar note made in a looping, elegant handwriting that said, "Un significo Nestor." Past the sign, the cellar doors were ill-lit and creaking. It took all of Louis's restraint to walk down the stairs without causing any sound, especially since he left his sneaky soul slippers at Duckburg. He had a special order them to shape like little ghosts, too. He neared the bottom of the stairs. He could hear low, gruff voices speaking to each other in Portuguese, as well as another, lighter spirited voice speaking while terrified. He looked over the rails and saw the stairs, saw a group of 10 men, each looking wrenched and hungry, as well as Jose Karaoke circling around the room, keeping them placated with his house wine as he spoke of whenever it spoke of their language. Louis stayed up on the stairs, making sure he was well back against the dark wall so he couldn't be seen. Pulled out a small microphone, just in case he could understand something, staked it down over the top of the stairs, directly over the heads of the men. At first, he couldn't really discover anything of real importance, but eventually he could make out some recurring words. First, capitalista, spoken with a deep disdain that cut Louis, who had thus been brought up with capitalism as a de facto religion to the bone. Next, he could hear names. Say Carlos? Marco. Interesting, but not too useful. For a moment, Louis wished that he and his brother's ten had to turn in their mystical junior Woodstock's guidebook, where they outgrew the organization. It was a really useful information for situations like this. It was then he heard a peculiar mix of capitalista, used in conjunction with the word sequestra, which Louis knew meant to kidnap. His eyes perked up, went harder than any other hints, but was no use. The discussion ended soon after a rousing cry of "Viva Volta!" led by a seemingly enthusiastic karaoke of "Viva VPR!" Soon after, without a sound uttered, the Green Phantom was up the stairs, through the curtain, up through the second floor, out the window, scaling the wall outside, and in through the window of the single-bed hotel room. Checking for spies, Louis searched every nook and cranny before he got comfortable enough to come up from the persona of a crime fighter and became Louis once again. Communists, he thought, and Zay is one of them. Not only that, but they're keen to kidnap someone. But who? He racked his brain before realizing he didn't have nearly enough information to go on, not with his abysmal grasp of Portuguese. That tape he made with the recorder, however, could be useful if he had someone to listen to it. Someone he could get more out of it than he could. Taking his mind off of things for tonight, Louis lay down in a plush bed, hiding the tape of the radical's conversation in his pillowcase for safekeeping. Soon after, he was asleep. Louis, wake up! Wearily and still half asleep, Louis's half-remembered dreams ran together with reality, causing a confused vision of the modern night before a sight of Huey's face, moving over his own, while the glistening heels of the Yukon rose behind him, where he had seen Uncle Scrooge walk off through only moments before. Louis! Huh? He didn't remember the night before. Back was suddenly straight and silver. What? Did something happen? Huh? No. Mr. Kurioka's just fixing breakfast. Come on. Even Dewey had a few bites before he stepped out with Lebby. Rolling over, Louis crawled out of his warm bed, groaning. He grabbed a terry cloth robe in the colors of the Brazilian flag off the bathroom floor before he began to follow Huey downstairs. Strong smells of brewing coffee wafted through the staircase as Louis padded his way down the steps. Instantly, his stomach woke up a little bit behind schedule and demanded to be filled. He walked a little faster towards a little alcove that stood off to the one side of the lobby, containing a cushy, sun-drenched breakfast nook, where Huey had already been seen, chewing on a half-pie of fruit. The table was set with all manner of cheese and cold cuts, and small sweet cakes, along with a long loaf of bread that had already been decimated halfway down. Louis sat down next to his brother and took up the bread knife, helping himself to a thick chunk of the loaf. Ah, sleepy-head Louis finding earrings, said the sickly accented voice of the green parrot, walk up with a fresh pot of strong coffee, along with 3 already filled mugs. You rich men always seem to enjoy sleeping in bed. Not all of them, said Louis, as he took off one of the white cups of coffee. Some of them are off the crack of day to make more money. Hey, Dewey. Like Dewey, said Huey. You should have seen him. He must have called it every single arm of Duck Enterprises just to yell at them not to slack off while he was taking time off in Brazil. Then he proceeded to run the businesses by proxy by Jose's phone anyway, until the crow at the front desk nicked him off for running up the long-distance charges. It was an ugly sight. Nestor is not used to people yelling at him like that. Jose took a sip of coffee. Luckily, that lovely young senorita convinced him to take him sit down. He needs it. Poor little duck. He looks sickly. As Jose spoke, Louis's mind couldn't help but flash back to last night. The sight of Jose Karaoke limping along among a band of Marxist revolutionaries, distributing wine, and laughing and smiling along with their whispered plots and plans. As he stared at the large beach face full of life, he wondered if he really believed in the radicals, or merely playing along. Was he in trouble somehow? Jose? Please, any nephew or daughter must come here, Joe, or say anything if I say here. Right. Joe, I don't suppose there are any eggs back there. I am just dying for one over easy on a piece of toast. With a loud laugh, Jose slapped Julie in the back. Of course, I shall cook for you all the eggs you want. One for every essay and a piece of toast. He then stood, taking up his mug of coffee. As they say in the States, back in the city. As he walked off, Louis watched him nervously. Huey noticed. Louis, what's up? He began to take off on his father's shifty tone. Hey, listen, Huey, I want you to listen to this. He produced a small tape recorder from his pocket of his robe, placed on a table. I recorded it last night, but I don't know a word of Spanish. Portuguese. See, I have no idea. Can you help? Noting the serious expression in Louis's eyes, Huey wordlessly turned over the recorder and began to listen to the playback. The hushed voices were barely audible over the loud static of the tape recorder, but Huey bent to listen. Jose, is that Joy here? Louis merely nodded. What are you talking about? The football game. Bailey apparently won them the game against England. 1-0. Louis defied. Oh, well, keep listening. Huey did, growing ever more impatient. They're talking pretty fast. I'm only picking up every other. Wait. He sighed recent tears. Blood froze. Rewind that. Louis did, rewinding and playing back. VPR. Huey's eyes had gone wide. It's the goddamn Vagada popular revolution. What did you find this? What's Joe doing there? Shh, Louis said silently, as the parrot came back to the beaded curtain, holding a plate of fluffy yellow mounds. We were all out of road for the history, but I did not think they'd make it a Brazilian. I should make it calamities instead. That's just fine, Joe. Thank you. Huey chimed in. Say, Joe, the smell of those eggs is fantastic. Can I get some too? Of course, of course. 1 minute, Joel. Oh, sorry, do you have any bacon? I used to so great with a slice of bacon on the side. See no more, my friend. He walked happily back to the beaded portal. Ignoring the eggs, Louis and Huey began to speak conspiratorially once more. So, where was this? Downstairs, wine cellar. I think they're using the hotel as a hideout. Who are they? They're a group of commie revolutionaries. You're saying they're downstairs? Probably not this minute, but yeah. I heard her say sequester? That means kidnap, right? Yeah, sequestre. But they don't say who. They just call them the capitalists. They planned it for this morning when he was separated from their group, and are planning to exchange him for some political prisoners. So they're planning to kidnap a capitalist this morning when he gets separated from some group. He scratched his head. I wonder. And slowly, deliberately, the two ducks turned their heads towards each other. So as on the other sides, they understood what the other were thinking. Dewey! You boys are picking eggs just like you. Huh? Josie looked at the empty breakfast nook with a concerned eye. The open door was still standing in mid-swing, as if they had just left in a hurry. Jose sighed. Before placing the plate of breakfast on the table, walked back towards the bedrooms, muttering murder under his breath. There he stood, awkwardly taking up space in the middle of the busy outdoor marketplace. People spilled in around him like a river around a rock. He had very reluctantly eschewed his tie, by what Abigail suggested, and his neck felt strange without the slight pressure of his collar pressing against it. His hands, with nothing better to do, buried themselves in his pockets as a bulwark as possible against possible pickpockets. Dearie, how about this? Asked Webby, holding up a pretty little summer dress off a nearby rack. I need new clothes after that terrible time at Duckburg. It's fine. Webby pursed the lips of her beak. You sure? That's what you said about the last one. Yes, that one was fine as well. I'm done, she said, picking out another dress. How about this one? Just fine. Or maybe this one? That one's fine, just great. Dearie, I'm not holding anything. His face scrolled over, as he was simply standing with her hands balled in front of her. Oh, sorry. Are you alright, Dewey? I know how hard this must be for you. He turned away from her. It's just fine. Uncle Scrooge's entire fortune is just in the hands of those incompetents at the company. I could come home bankrupt for all I know. His brow creased. Just when my gold mine was opening up. You'll still be there when you get back, Dewey, she answered in her most soothing tone. Mr. Keegan is in charge of everything. He's a very competent businessman. Yeah, of course. Dewey began. I started to soften. Farrah's quite good, isn't he? So there's nothing to worry about. We just need to wait for the all clear to come back in Duckburg and go right back to your regular wretched self. What was that? I said you could go right back to your regular running self. Oh. Webby abandoned the closed fragment with a sigh and smiled. She wrapped her arm around her boss's elbow and smiled up at him. Relax, Dewey. Nothing's going to happen. At that moment, there was commotion down the crowded street. People stampeded down the market away from some great growling mass. When the crowd finally parted, Dewey could see that it was a long black car with tinted windows, coming right for him. Dewey? Without wasting another minute, he grabbed onto a nearby stall and pulled it forward, spreading the splintering wood over the crates over the road in front of the car. They ran, hand in hand, as the car began to slip from side to side on the crushed fruit and spread all over the road. However, the speeding car was simply too fast. It came to a stop in front of the two fleeing ducks. Out poured a stream of people of unknown species, wearing stocking caps over their faces. Remy screamed, trying to summon help, while Dewey backed up into the nearest stall, banded, selling scissors of various makes and models. One of the men approached Dewey. babbling on in Portuguese, threatening him with a gun. As soon as he was close enough to grab Dewey, Dewey struck. Grasped a hand, holding the gun firmly with his left hand. Right drove a pair of wicked scissors directly into the masked man's arm. To avoid unnecessary dry cleaning, Dewey turned the bleeding wrist away from himself, so he wouldn't get splashed with blood. Oh, of course. The shock of the stab caused the man's grip on his gun to loosen, which Dewey took full advantage of by wresting it out of the screaming terrorist's fingers before kicking him square in the chest, causing him to fall back onto the gutter. Others began to wield their guns. Dewey found cover. "Whippy!" She screamed. Dewey peeked out over the scissor saw he had hidden behind, saw her being held by gunpoint by a plain-faced beagle. "Mr. Duck, if you will come out and come with us peacefully, we will spare the girl." "Who are you?" yelled Dewey, taking the gun, a small pistol, firing too few shots to get all the goons before they got him or Webigail. "We are the revolution, Mr. Duck. You will be doing great service to my country. Please come with us." "No, Dewey, don't get away!" Webby then sent a muffled scream as a black cough stuffed over her beak. "Don't you dare hurt Webigail!" "Then, will you come with us or not?" He swallowed a slob of saliva, sweating as he forced to choose between himself or the best personal assistant a man could have. He suddenly got an idea. The Duck rose up, the gun trained on his own hand. "Don't you dare hurt her head on her head, or I'll kill myself, you hear me?" The plain-faced man did not flinch, though his companions did. "You will not, Mr. Duck." "You want to try me? You need me. I don't know why, but you do. And if you don't have me, you lose." It was a tense moment as the dog held the girl hostage, while the Duck held himself. Their eyes bored into each other. A physical knife fight, from which there could only be one winner. "Grr!" yelled one of the goons suddenly. His feet suddenly wrapped in a strong cord tied to a set of heavy rocks. He fell forward, firing into the air uselessly. With that, the other goons were pointing their guns into the air, trying to find the source of the bullets. Another masked Marcus was quickly whisked away, dragged off by some other strange rope trick that had been perpetrated on him. The green-faced man yelled at his subordinates in Portuguese before roughly shoving Webigail into a black car. The green phantom swung in just then on a long rope, kicking one of the dazed freedom fighters in the face, knocking him down for the count. The leader and the remaining few goons piled back in the car, believing themselves surrounded. "No, stop!" Dewey yelled as he raised his gun and fired on the car as it began to drive away, only to manage to hit the back bumper before it disappeared down the street. "Webigail!" The green phantom then landed next to his brother. "Dewey!" He flinched as the gun was roughly shoved to his face. "You! I had things under control before you swooped in. What are you doing here anyway? I thought you left with Darkwing Duck." "What I'm doing is saving your life." But not Miss Vanderquack." Dewey fell to his knees slowly, dropping the gun to the ground. "They took Webby. What was that?" "They were planning on taking you for ransom. Niels is saying we can't let them do that. You're too important." "But—" Louis knelt down, his errant hero burning forth, giving him the right lines to speak. "I can get her back. I will get her back. We just gotta find out where they're taking her." "I don't think that would be possible, amigos," said another voice behind them. Green Phantom suddenly stood, reaching for a tool, but was stopped by the sight of a large, elegant revolver in the hands of Jose Carioca, the umbrella in the other. Louis' eyes squinted. "You!" "I am very sorry. It has nothing to do with you, I promise. I simply cannot let you interfere with the VPR any more than you already have. It is important." "Traitor! You traitor!" "I have no loyalty to you, my friend. It is a family matter. I am sorry I must do this to Donald's sweet little nephews, but I was hoping you wouldn't bring me to it." He rose up, the pistol towards Louis' head, his hand seeking the whole way. I'm sorry." "Sorry to butt in." "Okay," said Jose, before he found Huey's hard head slamming into his stomach. Knocked to the floor and winded, Jose dropped the revolver by his side, clutching his stomach and whining. "Huey!" Couldn't let this slime off my favorite superhero, could I? But Dewey had no time for small talk. He walked right up to Jose and climbed onto him, pointing Bill to the parrot's beak. Where is she? The karaoke simply whined, stomach still sore after Huey's headbutt. Where is she? I don't know. I don't know. Tears began to form at the edge of his vision. They promised to tend me after I helped them, giving them a place to stay at. They took my daughters. They took Rosalina, Marita, and Amelia, and they will kill them if I do not cooperate. Oh, my head, Maria Sotos. Huey blinked. Daughters? I thought they were your nieces. But Jose was far too gone to answer. He merely babbled on in Portuguese, muttering platitudes to whoever would listen. He was soon snapped by a rough slap from Dewey. Answer! Tell us whatever you know. Dewey, yelled Louie. Puss off. He's a wreck. So am I, Ghost. My PA was just kidnapped instead of me. She could be dead by now. Yelling at Joe won't make him anything better. It will if he knows something. The two heads had gotten closer as they yelled, their beaks nearly touching to each other, splashing Phil on the other's beak. Soon, however, both felt the impression of a hand on the back of their heads, before those same heads were forcibly knocked together. Harry rubbed his hands as the two brothers assaulted fell to the ground, dazed. They walked up to Jose and held out his hand. You okay, Joe? I hit you pretty hard. I'm okay. He seemed to have gotten a hold of himself as Huey helped him to his feet. I know where they may have taken her. Where? There is a compound 3 miles out of town. He may have taken her there. He then grabbed the fur-lined lapel of Huey's jacket. Please, if you find my girls... Don't worry, Joe. We'll help. And please do not let them know about me. They mustn't know that I am their fathers. Louis had recovered from his head injury and stood. Ugh. The car's in the sea duck. If we start driving now, we could probably make the compound by nightfall. He then turned towards Dewey. You okay? No. Dewey said, standing up slowly, brushing off his suit. Let's go. Calmly, he began to walk towards the duck, followed by Louis, then Huey, supporting Jose Karaoke with a helping shoulder. Rough hands pushed out and pushed her through the dark. A bag was over her head, obscuring her vision, causing the sweat to cling to her feathers and beak. One last shove, Abigail lost her balance and fell to the floor. Their hands roughly at the black hood, a gray, digging light flooded her vision. Her hands bound behind her back and were freed, the knife nicking the side of her wrist. Without a word, her still unseen kidnapper left the room, and slammed the heavy-barreled door behind him. Webby finally had the presence of mind to inspect his surroundings. It was a large, square, unadorned room, brown walls and piles of straw everywhere. All in the corner were 3 others, dirty and destitute, with masses of streaky black hair and ruffled green feathers sticking up every inch away. They were young women, lustily colored parrots with small dinky beaks, nigh identical except for a few subtle distinctions in the shape and body shape. To tell them apart, the rags of whatever left was their clothes were colored red, blue, and green. Rosalina, Maria, and Amelia, right? Said Webby kindly. After a moment, the one red spoke up. Yes, who are you? I'm Abigail Vanderquack. I'm a friend of your uncle, Jose Carioca. The one green reached out. Tio Carioca? Began to speak of rapid-fire karaoke in Portuguese. Please, her. Her meager knowledge of the language failed her. I don't understand. It's okay, miss. My cousins do not speak the English. Please, how is our uncle? He's just fine. Maria? The red-clad one shook her head. No, I am Rosalina. She pointed to her blue sister. This is Maria, and her green sister. And this is Amina. Lovey was certain that the stirring symmetry between these 3 girls and the duck boys was simply coincidence. Nevertheless, deciding to keep a suspicious eye on the blue one, so they ever get out of this mess. Well, even under these circumstances, it's nice to meet you. She did look around. Who are these people? El leader is a man Carlos Lamarca. He is ruthless. Evidently, said Webby. Well, girls, I suppose we're stuck together. The 4 women had sat up against the wall, Levy hugging her knees to her chest, and the three girls all hugging each other. "Turn here, Louie," said Jose, pointing out a small, blinking misted side road in the jungle. The little red car turned wide, almost dipping into deep ruts at the side of a thin dirt strip. "I don't see why we're trusting him," said Dewey with a glare at Jose, who was situated in the rumble seat next to Huey. "He was just about to shoot Green Phantom. He could have been leading us into a trap." Jose looked saying to Dewey's words. "Yeah, and," answered Louis, "there are no other road leads to go on. We need to act now." "Oh, like you know what you're talking about." He looked at Huey. "Where did we get Louis?" "Step here, quickly," said Joe, interrupting the conversation. Dewey looked around, with spread his arms up. "Where is it, Carioca?" "It is just a few more meters that way." He pointed towards the left, to the thick bushes. Huey jumped up and over the top. "Let's go!" "Wait, we're just leaving Carioca here?" said Dewey. Louis rolled his eyes. "No, you're staying here too. We can't afford to take you with us." He smirked. "You got Scrooge's gun. You can keep guard over him if you want." But it was too late. Huey and the green phantom disappeared into the overgrown foliage. "I do not suppose you have a light, senor," said Jose, but somehow found a half-smoked cigar somewhere on the other side of his person. Dewey crossed his arms and leaned back, grumbling under his breath. Birds called in the sky as the two ducks marauded through the jungle. Louis was having trouble every now and then with his keep catching on the branches and twigs. "Quiet!" whispered Huey, who stalked through the trees relatively soundlessly. "You're going to give us away." "It's my cape. It keeps on catching things." "So did it. You don't really need a cape, do you?" "It's part of my design aesthetic. Oh, for Pete's sake." Huey came up behind Louis and grabbed a small catch located around Louis's neck and attached the cape to the rest of the outfit. They balled the cape up while keeping it away from his brother's desperate, reaching hands, but chucking the whole thing deep into the woods. "You jerk! What did you do that for?" "Come on, I did you a favor." He then started back towards the small woods again. Green Phantom gave one last look towards where his cape used to be, sighed, and turned to follow his brother. Soon, the two of them came to the edge of a clearing, surrounded by large coils of barbed wire piled 2 men high. Beyond, there were several flat, utilitarian buildings based solely along sheets of aluminum and wood. The men patrolling the area were all of different species, but were constantly unwashed and a little mad around the eyes, possibly from hunger and possibly from crazy. Knowing now that this was the end of their banter for the moment, Louis and Huey began to wordlessly navigate around the deadly fence. Louis pointed towards a tall tree nearby. Some of those branches jutted out just along the coiled wires. Huey, in answer, nodded, and soon came to two brothers, holding each other up the lush tree. Very soon, two of them were scooting along the thick branch carefully. Louis looked down into the camp and tried to ascertain where the girls must be hidden. "There are bars on that one," Louis whispered, pointing towards a small building near the center of camp. "Maybe we can sneak over the rooftops." "Goose plan A. Lead the way, Mr. Hero." Louis nodded his head slightly, before reaching into his suit for an appropriate gadget. He pulled out a simple iron hook that obviously had been salvaged from somewhere, and tied to a long rope. "Wait a second," said Huey. "This for the sea duck. You can just steal shit from the sea duck." "I'm sorry. My grappling hook got lost, and the new one won't come for another 2 weeks. Not to mention it'll come to my apartment in St. Canard. I need a new one." Huey stared at the coiled rope in Louis's arms for a moment, before snoring. "Fine. But if you want something like that for my company's plane, you ask first." "Righto." With that, Louis stood up, bouncing on a branch. He shaded his eyes to eyeball the distance from the nearest roof, where coiled a measure of rope, circling his head like a halo. The massive grappling hook spun in his hands, threw the hook towards the nearest roof. The hook slid down on the tin roof of the building, and puncturing it with a sharp curved end of the iron gun. Louis pulled the rope tight to test it, or tying it out to a strong branch above their heads. Hugh's eyebrows came up. "Why do you need a grapple gun if you can do that?" "What?" "Why do you need a grapple gun? You accomplish the same thing using a homemade tool. Some skills. It'd probably be cheaper just to carry around some rope and rocks to make your own tools instead of carrying around some stupid thingamajiggies." Well, It's what you're supposed to do when you are a hero. You know, like Darkwing Duck, you know. Taking off his jacket and twisting it slightly, Huey prepared to slide down a rope while using a leather garment. Louis, you were probably the best junior woodchuck out of the three of us towards the end when it came to crafts and activities. He pressed the jacket on Rose Krauts, preparing to jump. But you were always lousy at thinking the details through, without me or Dewey's there to see ya. See you on the other side! He did jump, the ladder making a muffled buzz as it slid down towards the distant building. Louis, still standing on the branch, crossed his arms, realizing what Huey said was absolutely right. With a dissatisfied hum, he pulled out the plunger-shaped fingerprint scanner out of his belt, and used it to once again slide down the rope. I spy with my little eye, began Rosanita, looking over at her small jail cell. Something that begins with B. Webby, hand in hands, beside him, muttering, Is it bars? Oh, right. Did I do that one before? Yes? This one gets hard as time goes by. Don't worry about it, Rose. It's a silly game anyway. Let me get outside again. Mostly out of habit at this point. She laid back into her soft straw pile. When do you feed us around here anyway? Day after tomorrow is next time. Great. It is not great. We are hungry. Have you tried talking to the guards? Rio was the one who chimed in. Yes, but the guards, they have been told not to, which is, listen to our words. Not after what Amelia did that first day. What did Amelia do? Asked Webby. Rosanna smiled, a sign of her good humor even in such a situation. She used her, with these feminine intuitions, to promise the gods that every wish of theirs would come true. And what happened? The gods come in. We knocked them into man's weakness, and all three of us tried to escape. However, we did not get as far as the fence before we got caught, and now the gods, they were earplugs to drown our seductions. Oh, on the other hand side, began Maria, they do not come in to rehearsals. It's good thing, yes? Amelia, inferring the contents of these scenes, nodded her pretty little head, proud of her achievement. Oh, good. Levy scratched her under the bill, giving a straw feeling incidents of all over. I suppose we'll just have to wait for them to do whatever it is they want to do with us. Maybe whatever they want will just fall to their laps and they'll free us. Before Rosalina could answer, however, the roof of their head busted open and 2 fingers fell inside, kicking up a cloud of straw. The 3 girls gave little screams as they ran away from the falling figures. But Webby stood her ground, thinking absently that the Surefire skin jacket wasn't to break or untie a chain, but say something ironic at the right time. The straw settled down, revealing 2 ducks on the ground, one in a strange costume, the other wearing tight red-fitting undershirt, with a large fight jacket in his hands. The 2 figures slowly began to pick themselves off the floor. Huey? Louie? Here, said a dazed Louie. I'm not late for class, I swear! Louie ran up quickly and hugged Louie around the neck. Thank goodness! She looked at Huey. But where's Huey? He's waiting with Jose Carioca in the car. Tio Carioca! The 3 voices in unison. Well, instead Huey looked over, saw that as a case of fantasy of 3 identical women wearing next to nothing akin to life. Blah? The 3 girls then swarmed around Huey, grabbing his strong bare arms and pulling at him. Tio Carioca, you bring word to Tio Carioca. Yeah, he's with Dewey in the getaway car. Don't worry, he's safe. The 3 women were so happy to begin to babble among themselves in Portuguese, while hovering around Huey like 3 sexy satellites around a really dazed planet. Let's get out of here, suggested Webigail. We can do that, right? Not with 6 people we can't. Sticking around a group that size is asking for trouble. Then it's a good thing you don't have to worry about that, said an artificially improvised voice from outside the cell. Louis swore loudly. The 3 girls called out to Huey for protection. My name is Carlos Lamotka. I'm the leader of this camp. Intruders, we have snipers on on the roofs and gunners surrounding the prison building. Do not do anything too rash, or we shall fill you all with the dead. What do we do now? Said Huey. trying not to get distracted by the three wild-haired beauties that held up against him. We, we, he crossed his arms, began to tap his foot. This is just great. They must have swing over to the building. We need to find a way to get back to Dewey, or, he snapped his fingers, find a way for Dewey to come to us. What are you planning? Without answering, Louis reached into his pocket and pulled out an unmolested and so far unused gadget he brought on a whim. The Flare-O-Matic 6000 with an intense typing mechanism. He'll be able to see it flare if we shoot it high enough. But they'll shoot at us if we try. Then lay down flat. They'll shoot over our heads without hitting us. Alright, you're the boss. He addressed the three Serias. You heard him, girls. Lie down in the center of the room. Rosalie nodded and translated for the other two, who, for their part, giggled at the thought of lying down with a red-clad man in any capacity. Side by side, the girls, Huey and Webby, flattened down on the ground, while Louis finished typing a little message on the Flare-O-Matic. So I hope this works. He pointed the flare canister towards the hole created in the ceiling and fired, before instantly throwing himself to the wall. Fire! They heard, before the walls and ceiling were littered with bullet holes. The girls screamed in surprise as they heard the flying lead whistled over their heads. Webby had to grip down to keep herself from screaming simultaneously. Soon enough, the gunfire stopped. Everyone was unhurt, but riled. Soon, the man named Carlos Lamaka began. If you're still alive, please listen, for I only see this once. You are all expendable, and once you are gone, will be a perfect place to capture the capitalist American, Dewey Duck, for to exchange him for 40 political prisoners being held by the tyrannical Brazilian government. He paused. If you're still alive, you will be used as bait for the capture of Dewey Duck. What now, genius? Wait! For what? Yells and the sound of bellowing metal answered Huey's question. There were cracks of gunfire, a sound of a powering engine pushing as hard as it could under the circumstances. To one side, everyone, said Louis as he heard the grapple going for the south wall. What did you tell him with that flare, Huey? Asked Huey. It said, ran the south wall. Soon, the thin wall of the prison burst open, revealing the front end of Louis's little red convertible. As it does so, Abigail was the first to open her eyes and look for the doer. Dewey? In answer, the grim-faced Duck popped out of his position, crouching under the driver's seat. Crouching in the rumble seat behind him was Jose Carioca, who indeed found a light for a cigar. Tio Carioca! The three girls yelled, right towards the car, climbing over it, trampling Dewey underfoot like a dirty, sexy stampede. The girls squeezed into the rumble seat with their uncle, embracing him, intending to not let go for anything. My little girls, you're safe now. I ran up, followed by Louie and Huey. Huey, let's get out of here. Gonna be a tight fit. Scoot over, I drive. Dewey complied, squeezing himself between his two brothers in the front seat, allowing Levy to sit in his lap, arms around his neck for support. In the back, the small smile of Carioca's were a mass of hugging arms supporting each other. Go! Yelled Huey as the back of the car smashed out of the wall and almost immediately to gunfire. The car quickly began to pick up speed. It rushed through the grass between the buildings, trying to find a route that wasn't overrun with revolutionaries. Eventually, a sense of path towards the hole in the barbed wire fence appeared. Slamming down the gas, Louis drove on towards the hole. Just before a round-nosed Marxist jumped onto the roof of the hood of the car, wielding a knife. The girl screamed, and the man began to raise the knife to take out Louis. Before Huey's intervention, Huey stood up, grasping the man's knife's hand in his own, began to struggle for ownership of the knife, even as the barbed wire fence loomed ever closer. Huey! Yelled Dewey. You're too high! The wires will kill you! Not today! Huey yelled as he twisted the frame-fighter's wrist, causing a scream of pain to drive the knife over the edge of the car. Not much time before he passed over the low currents of the barbed wire's fence hole. Huey simply picked up the revolutionary bodily by the collar and held him up, protecting himself from the shedding wires using the man's back. The man screamed as his back was made into a bleeding mess before he passed out from the pain. Masked to barbs, and with no more use for him, Huey ducked the man's unconscious body over the side of the car and calmly sat down. Where now? Asked Louis. Sea-Duck. Maybe Rio wasn't such a good idea after all. What about them? Said Dewey. As the little car drove from the jungle floor towards the pathway. The four ducks looked back at the four parrots questioningly. Webby was the first to speak.
Ozzy, you should come with us.
What? Asked Huey. What are you?
He's in danger here, because of us. We should take him and his nieces somewhere else, away from the VPR.
Dewey stared at Webby's in his face for a moment, the car finding its way back to a smoother dirt road, before he nodded. Fine. Thank you, Miss Vanderquack.
You're welcome, Huey.
In Portuguese, Carlos Lamaca was conversing with a lieutenant as he surveyed the damage and injury to his escaped knees. Report, Miguel. There is extensive damage to the prison block, as well as the Hornet's defense. 3 men were injured in the attack. Raul may die from his wounds. Lamaca nodded before he rubbed his temple. This plan was a disaster. But no one knew that Dewey Duck and his brothers were so fearsome. We thought they were just merely relatives of the richest duck in the world, sir. We did not expect it to be so formative. Screw up the kidnapping plot. We'll find another way to get our brothers. But how? After a moment, Miguel struck the soldiers and said, The Prime Minister of Switzerland will be in Rio in 2 months, won't he? After a moment, Loroca nodded and said, Good as a plan as any. Tell the men to quit searching for the ducks. Begin planning our new plot immediately. Yes, sir. About an hour later, the group found themselves near the dock, driving towards the Sea Duck. They braked in front of the dock before piling out. Rebby retrieved a large blanket from the car's trunk and wrapped the 3 girls up in it. As he would go to ramp up to the Sea Duck's cargo hold, Louis lamented the red paint of the car, which had been largely scratched up by barbed wire and branches. Dewey spoke, annoyed at the prospect of telling his subordinates where it'll be all over again once he touches down God knows where. Well, where to now? Honestly, I need to get back to Cape Suzette. I should have been back by now. Old Man Cloudkicker will have my head. Once there, we can charter you guys a flight back to the States. Duckburg must have cooled off by now. Also, he shook his head, gesturing towards himself and nieces with his cigar. If this is all the same, if you would drop us off on the way, it would be lovely.
Are you sure, Zay?
Asked Webby.
We would be honored to have you accompany us.
The car drove up the ramp slowly, followed by Jose and his progeny, then the rest of the Duck family. No, you must put them out ways. I am old and not cut out for the adventure, and I would like to spend some time with Rosalina, Ramia, and Amina. I cannot thank you enough for saving my little girls. All right, sir. Where to? Said Huey with a smile as he raced the ramp. Anywhere at all. Anywhere, huh? As the last of the natural sunlight disappeared, as the ramp closed up behind him, he looked up to his nieces and smiled. Then towards Huey, putting a voice dripping with nostalgia and easy sensuality, he said, Tell me, Huey, have you ever been to Bahia?